everyone, welcome back to Kitco News. I'm Jeremy Saffron. Well, gold is on track for its best year since 1979, surging over 33% this year and breaking successive records. Now, the precious metal is currently trading at around $2,700 an ounce on the spot side. So what's driving the rally?
Did you know that while some of the world's largest economies are sitting on their gold reserves, others have been on a buying spree for the last decade? In uncertain times, where tensions are rising and the fear of major conflict lingers, we're seeing moves that could reshape global power dynamics. Welcome to our channel, where we dive into the forces shaping our world. Today, we're comparing the gold reserves of the G7 and BRICS nations, examining how each group's approach has evolved over the past decade. We'll see who's stacking up, who's selling off, and what this could mean in a world where de-dollarization and the risk of conflict are becoming real concerns. Before we jump in, don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell icon if you're interested in geopolitics, economics, and more insights like this. We're living in uncertain times. Rising tensions between major powers have many experts speculating about the possibility of World War III. Economic and political divides are intensifying, and countries are beginning to protect themselves by strengthening their own reserves and moving away from the US dollar. Historically, the US dollar has been the world's primary reserve currency. But now, there's a growing movement towards de-dollarization, led by the BRICS countries. As these nations seek alternatives to the dollar, they are increasingly relying on gold to secure their economies. Let's start by looking at the G7 countries: Canada, France, Germany, Italy, Japan, the United Kingdom, and the United States. While these countries still represent some of the world's wealthiest economies, their global share of wealth has been slowly declining compared to the rapidly growing BRICS nations. Individual G7 country breakdown. The United States holds the largest stockpile globally at around 8,133.5 metric tons. Despite this, the United States faces challenges. The dollar's dominance is being questioned as BRICS countries and others explore alternatives. This stable reserve signals the US' continued reliance on its financial strength, even in an uncertain world. Germany, France, Italy, United Kingdom, Canada, Japan. While the G7 countries are generally stable in their gold holdings, Canada's minimal reserves and Japan's modest increase stand out. The G7 seems to rely on the power of established financial systems rather than an aggressive gold buying strategy. Turning to the BRICS nations, Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa, we see a different picture. These countries are increasing their gold holdings and becoming more economically independent. The BRICS nations have gone from holding a small fraction of global wealth to rivaling the G7 in purchasing power. As of recent years, BRICS's combined GDP on a purchasing power parity basis has surpassed that of the G7, marking a significant shift in global wealth distribution. Individual BRICS country breakdown. Russia and China. Russia and China are leading the BRICS group's gold accumulation. Russia has doubled its reserves to over 2,300 metric tons, while China increased its reserves to over 2,260 metric tons. This aggressive strategy not only shields them from potential sanctions but also serves as a hedge against a dollar-dominated system. With global instability rising, gold offers security that the dollar might no longer provide. India, Brazil, South Africa. Summary of BRICS outliers. Russia and China's massive purchases set them apart within the BRICS group. Their strategy highlights a significant shift, preparing them for a future where they aren't reliant on the dollar or Western-dominated financial institutions. In summary, the G7 countries mostly held their gold reserves steady, with only slight increases in certain countries. However, the BRICS nations, led by Russia and China, are clearly on a mission to stockpile gold. De-dollarization is central to the BRICS strategy. As these nations become less dependent on the dollar, gold provides them with a universal asset, one that isn't tied to any single currency or government. This shift in strategy might signal a move toward a more multipolar financial system, where BRICS nations have greater independence from Western influence. Implications of G7 and BRICS strategies. G7 nations rely on their established economic structures, while BRICS is diversifying with gold, positioning itself as a counterbalance to the traditional financial powers. This divide could mark the beginning of a shift in global wealth and influence, especially if BRICS continues to expand and add more member countries. The US produces about 200 metric tons annually, maintaining a steady supply. Canada, despite holding minimal reserves, produces roughly 180 metric tons each year. China is the world's leading gold producer, with an annual output of approximately 378 metric tons. Russia produces around 321 metric tons, positioning itself as another global gold giant. South Africa, a former leader in global production, still contributes about 104 metric tons annually. Comparison of production strategies. The production levels in BRICS countries reflect a long-term commitment to bolstering their gold reserves. They're not just buying gold, they are producing it, which supports their strategic shift away from the dollar. To wrap it up, we're seeing two very different strategies. The G7 is relying on the strength of their established financial systems, but the BRICS countries are taking a proactive approach, stockpiling gold to protect against dollar dependency and the potential of global conflict. As G7 nations slowly lose their hold on global wealth, BRICS is stepping up to fill the gap, challenging the established order. De-dollarization is central to this story. With BRICS's aggressive gold buying, we could be looking at the dawn of a multipolar financial system, one where BRICS nations have a larger say in the global economy. Are we witnessing a new era where BRICS nations challenge the G7's financial dominance, or is this just a temporary shift? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. With that said, thanks for watching, and until next time. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more insights on global economics and geopolitics.
We got strong central bank buying, geopolitical tensions, increased demand from wealthy investors, and a shift by the Federal Reserve towards interest rate cuts. All of this has played a huge role. Now, in the quarter alone, global gold demand rose by around 5%, setting a record for this period and pushing total consumption above $100 billion for the first time. This, of course, according to the latest report by the World Gold Council. And we're also seeing a significant boost in purchases from the non-transparent over-the-counter market, adding further upward pressure on prices,